Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Charles Renaud. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe down below. If you're not new here, welcome back to the channel. And today what we're going to be diving into is how I went exactly from a 2XL to a large shirt in the span of 6 months. And you may be curious, this is exactly how I was able to permanently let go of 65 pounds, having struggled with weight my entire life. And I'm going to take you through the exact method that I use, not only inside of my mind, but with my physical body to achieve the transformation of, well, going from wearing 2XL shirts and wearing a shirt underneath a polo because I was afraid of people seeing my tits, my man tits, to wearing large size shirts, no more shirts under my polo, and being confident in the way that I looked. So I want to take you guys exactly on how you can do that by a simple technique, simple principles you can start applying to your life. And if you apply them, it could change absolutely everything for you. So as you can see, the 2XL is red, the large is blue. So we have to start where you're at currently because it'll paint the picture for us of where it is that you want to be. So the current situation, I'll use myself as the example. I was 285 pounds, correct? Boom, there we go. I was wearing 2XL shirts. That was my reality. My pants were probably somewhere from like a size 38 to 40. I hated the way that I looked. I wasn't comfortable in my physical body. I was hiding away. I was wearing baggy clothes, hoping that no one would notice the extra fat that I had on me. But how could I ever hide it, even if it was baggier clothes? Now, this was my everyday reality. So what was going on is that, like I said in yesterday's video, that was my identity was a man of being 285 pounds. So the emotions, right? The emotions that I was going through every single day would be emotions of sadness, right? I'd go through a lot of sadness. I'd go through a lot of shame, a lot of shame. Why? Because I was so ashamed of wearing 2XL shirts. I was so ashamed of being the big guy. I felt guilt because no matter what I tried, I wasn't able to get myself out of that situation. I felt stuck. I felt like I was a prisoner inside of my own body, and I hated that every single day. Every time I went shopping, I had to buy the bigger clothes because nothing would fit me. And all these emotions, this, this would all seep down into me being very unhappy, not liking myself. And this placed me in a very low vibrational state, right? Of sadness, of shame, guilt, frustration, anger. And that's where I was at. And so this is where most people, right? We will keep continuously, we live this on a loop, right? So this is going to happen and it's going to come, boom, and it's going to keep cycling. And we're just going to feel more sadness, more shame, more guilt. And nothing changes until something changes. But so we have this desire that we paint. So we'll start going to that because now that we know where we are, we have to have that awareness. Where am I? I need to know, like, if you have a GPS and you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and you don't have a GPS, well, you don't know. But if you have a GPS and you can look at the coordinates, okay, this is where I am, you get to orient yourself with north, east, south, and west as the eraser decides to follow the law of gravity and fall on the ground. So now that we know where we are, this is our coordinates, 285, 2XL, size 38, 40 pants. Well, automatically, okay, if I'm here, where's the do I want to be? And that's how I painted the picture. And so to me, the desire became, I want to be 220 pounds because I no longer wanted to be 285, okay? I was 2XL shirts. Where did I want to be? I want to be in size large. Okay, and then I was wearing 38, 40 pants. Where do I want to be? I wanted to be 32 to 34. Now, if you look at this little guy, what's the opposite? What's the polarity? Every left has a right. So if he's frowning, well, I wanted him to smile because I had a definition that these things, these external things, if I just had this weight, this size shirt, this size pair of pants, well, then I would be happy. And it's realizing that actually I had access to that happiness at every point in time here, but I'll draw it out how you can access this for you. And the reason why most people stay stuck is because can you see that there is a gap in between here of most people questioning how am I going to get there? How am I going to get to 220 if I'm 285? How am I going to start wearing size large shirts if I'm wearing 2XL? How am I going to wear size 32, 34 pants if I'm wearing 38, 40 right now? And so it creates a gap. Therefore, the number one question that comes up for most people is, how am I ever going to get there? And now, this is the reason as to why all human beings stay stuck, is because asking yourself the question of how am I going to get there will create more of the experience of you staying where you are, because that's the experience of how am I go. It's more of how. And so you will stay stuck here because, sorry about that. Well, how am I going to get there doesn't imply that you've made it. It's still not possible. You don't believe. Why? Because you're going to be feeling emotions of sadness, of shame, of guilt. And so, well, where's the gap? Because we have to then look, okay, the emotions over here. What are the emotions I want to be feeling every single day? Right? So once again, since I know where I am. I have my coordinates of current. Okay, well, sadness. What's the opposite of sadness? It's happiness. Boom, I write it down. Now I'll be more aware. I'll know what it is that I want. Shame. I want to feel proud. And then guilt. I want to feel joyful. Right? I want to feel expansive. I don't want to feel contractive. I feel contractive as it is here. So I want to feel expansive because it's the opposite of that. So then if I know this, well, if I keep asking myself how, the one thing that's going to come up in your mind, this translates into I translates into I don't know. Because if you did know how to get from here to there, well, you would just do it, right? And so why most people stay stuck is because, well, how am I going to get there? Oh, I don't know. And what happens in your own brain? Well, you seem to not know how to get there. Therefore, why would you ever walk the path of becoming that? You wouldn't. Your brain's going to save up the energy and it's not going to make the journey. Have you ever felt like empowered by not knowing? Not at all. It's the most disempowering thing you'll ever go through. So if you want to experience this and happiness, proud, joy, pride, joyful, all these things, well, we have to remove this. I know. And then we're going to blur this one out because it's not going to be how anymore. And what it's going to translate into, you're going to ask yourself this question. Simple one-word question. Who? Who? Because you look at the version of who you're being here, and you look at that version of who you're being. There is no way these two scenarios, you're being the same version of yourself. You're not going to be seeing yourself the same way. You're not going to be feeling the same feelings. So therefore, you have to be willing to let go of these feelings of sadness, of shame, of guilt. We create a chemical cocktail that we get addicted to in this situation, and we have this feeling of being stuck, that we're imprisoned inside our own bodies. So it's not going to be possible to get there. But so to switch your feelings, well, you have to start doing things differently. You have to jump, even though it's scary. You're not going to be comfortable walking into a gym. That's normal. No one is. That's the price of admission. You have to be okay looking like a beginner. You have to be okay with where you're at. Because who? Well, this version of you walks into any gym and gets a membership and is proud to be there because that's just who they are. The version of you that's that too, the version of me, I'll use myself once again. The version of me, I was so afraid to walk in a gym. I was looking everywhere, trying to see what people were saying about me, what they were thinking of me. And that doesn't necessarily matter, realizing that it was more so what I was thinking of myself that was being projected back onto me. And so I was wearing size large shirts. That's what I wanted. Well, you go shopping, you feel proud. You're able to take your shirt off at the beach, at the pool. So you're proud of that. And when you go shopping, you buy new pants. Well, they're the size you want. You're happy, you're joyful. You're not the same version of who it is that you are, but you have to do things differently. And the difference into shifting all of that and going into your desired reality is who do I have to become? And more than likely, well, it's doing less of the things that you're doing here. So less doom scrolling, less junk food, less lying on the couch and watching 6 hours of Netflix every night. And you're just going to be doing the opposite of that. So if you're doom scrolling, well, you're going to set a time limit, a screen limit on your iPhone, your Android, to stop scrolling. Or you're going to do your doom scrolling on the treadmill or on the bike at the gym. Like watching Netflix for 6 hours, go on a 2 hour walk. Then you can watch Netflix, but at least get your 10,000 steps in for the day. It'll make sense. You'll shred the fat. It'll go away because you're being a different version of yourself. You're doing things differently because you're doing the things of where it is that you desire to be. You're no longer staying stuck. You're changing who. You're not asking yourselves how. But if you identify to this version and you see yourself already being that version of yourself, as my eraser, I'm gonna just hold it in my hand because it doesn't want to stick. I can't do that. So this version, it knows already it's possible because it is just the mirror. It is just the other side of the same metal. So you simply behave differently. I know this is going to be harder to do at first, but if you were just to embody that and wake up and choose every single morning that you were here and you had full conviction and full belief as if you were already here and you acted as this version of who it is that you want to be, as if you had already accomplished it, that is the secret. You don't have anything else to do. And let me just tell you, you've been doing it from here. You've been trying to get to there and there's a gap. So it's like your mind doesn't understand. Your brain's like, nope, we don't know how. We don't know, right? I don't know. It's not wanting you to move because, well, you get to experience more of this. And that's your own creation. You're creating that. So if you want to let go of that, well, we step into that desired version of you as if you had already achieved it. And you live from that state. And then every action that you take is energetically charged with that in the result of it, as my eraser pisses me off once again. But we'll find another solution for another video. And so you move from there. And it took me 6 months. It took me 6 months of acting as if and not caring what people thought, not caring what others were saying about me, not caring how others saw me. And I lived in those feelings and emotions of happiness, of pride, of joy. And it was only a matter of time before time caught up. And that became my new reality. And I shifted my entire identity around that. And you can do the very same. So the actions you've been scared of taking, well, you were telling yourself you didn't know. No more how, more who. And by applying this shift, you could change yourself, your transformation on your physical body of the size shirts that you wear. So I hope you guys got tremendous value out of this video. Leave a like on the video. Comment down below what resonated most. If you got any questions, leave them down there. Subscribe to the channel for more videos coming. And guys, I appreciate you being here. As always, my friends, let's keep making yesterday jealous.